criticism, please.
Yeah, I'll make it quick. Again, I will never regret voting for Trump because he freed a lot of my friends that would have spent much of the rest of their lives in a federal prison. So for that, I will never regret voting for Trump. Whether or not I think it's propaganda driven, he has restored a certain level of patriotism, I think, to this country that is always good. Whether or not it comes from a base of truth or not, he is constantly trying to induce patriotism. So I think that that's good. He's obviously secured the border. On these three things, I would say that Trump has done a great job.
Yeah, Trump's done a great job. So to answer your question directly, he's way too pro-woman.
That's true. I will say, I call it the bimbofication of the administration.
Yeah. It's really bad. Bondi is a bimbo, 100%. The faith, his office of faith lunatic that he has in there, she's a problem.
Bro, yes. The one that says, yeah, if you say no to Trump is like saying no to Jesus. That's a bimbo. It's actually a blondie as well. Pam Bondi, bimbo. Christy Gnomes, bimbo. So we got 3 bimbos right there.
Right. The fact that they bend over backwards for the females in the administration.
Hey, this was supposed to be positive. At least say they're good looking or something.
No. I'm supposed to take the
jump
worst.
Forward.
Oh, you were taking.
I'm taking the worst. What's the worst thing Trump's done? His pro-woman's the worst thing he's done, in my opinion.
Just to get in as many questions as we can with the remainder of time that we have.
Why are the women clapping for that? Good God!
Nobody hates women like women.
I have to restrict you guys to just one response to each question, just to get as many questions in as we're running a little behind.
Okay. Oh, and Andrew said in his opening statement that one of the strengths of Trump was moving the Overton window. Just had a conversation about Republicans secretly hating Trump. I think I've seen you long enough, a big fan. You have a problem with the uniparty and the way things have been for years and years and years in this country. Given the fact that it would be impossible to even consider a fraction of that uniparty before Trump, wouldn't you say that that alone is a success of Trump, that we have a better chance? He's making small incremental gains now, but we have a better chance of actually having someone like me and you would say is much better in the future because of Trump. And wouldn't that be enough for you to consider him a success?
Yes, but I think the issue. I think the issue that we're going to face is we're 2 election cycles away from that coming to fruition.
Yeah, I'll be real with you. Trump did open the door for, regular people to somehow become a presidential candidate. He did open that door, but Trump's a multi-millionaire, multi-billionaire. So I'm not even really sure if he opened the door all that much. But it does make it seem like, you know what, maybe the next up for president might be one of these podcasters. Like, hey, man, look, think of your favorite podcaster and imagine them as president, because that's what we might be walking into.
And whatever damage is going to be done in the next 4 years, I don't know. I don't know how bad it's going to get, but I think that we're starting to see that process. Yes.
Well, it's funny to me though. Again, every time we go down these roads, it seems like Owen is more on the Trump has been more successful than not. His big 2 things seem to be hinged on, and I knew that they would, the Epstein files and what's going on in Iran. But anytime we get into domestic policy and what's going on here, he seems to have a much more favorable opinion. So
I get a closing statement, right?
Well, hang on, I'm just answering to the question, right? So
just making sure.
So I mean, overall, he seems like he's far more pro-Trump than not pro-Trump as far as the successes, in my opinion.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Maybe the right
Thank you
one
very
will get off my ass now.
This one.
Thank you both for the exciting debate. Andrew, do you believe that Trump could do a policy or an action that would be so bad that it would overcome all of his net successes? And if so, how would it not be him portraying himself as the God-man Jesus Christ, thereby incurring the wrath of God on our nation?
Oh, I see. So the meme. So I think that Trump's actually memed worse stuff than that, honestly. But sure, I'm willing to grant that was bad. Okay, yeah, he shouldn't have memed out, himself as Jesus Christ healing the soldier. 100% agree. I'm definitely not giving Democrats control of the nation over it. It's not, no way, not in a million years. So even if Trump blasphemed, let's just say he's a blasphemer. All of the Democrats are blasphemers. They're all anti-Christian. They're all lunatics.
I don't know about all of the Democrats, bro. I'm sorry, bro. I can't even let you say that. all Democrats. There are actually some Christian Democrats. There are pretty faithful Christians who are Democrats. So I'm sorry, but you can't sit there and say all Democrats are blasphemous. No, bro, that is a wild statement to make. Just because they're a Democrat don't mean that they're any less Christian than you. Just because you're a conservative and they're a liberal don't mean that you're more Christian than them. I'll tell you that right now.
Most of them are atheists, so it's like, okay, a little bit of blasphemy versus that. I'll take the little bit of blasphemy. Maybe you don't like it, right? But I'm assured what
most is fair
to Christians.
So most is fair. I mean, that's fair. But saying all, though, I mean, bro, the worst thing you can do in a debate is make an all statement because there's always exceptions. If it be individuals or groups.
If Democrats get back into power, I'm assured.
That was a doctor.
Shout out Mike.
I thought I was a doctor.
You know, too, on the doctor thing, he did say that with a smirk. He was like shit posting to the media when he said it. Just saying.
We'll go to the next one.
Okay, I wasn't going to ask a question until the very end. Owen said that there's a MAGA cult now that Trump is ahead of. And I guess the question is, the biggest split now would be headed by Tucker Carlson having like nicotine-driven demon visions and Candace Owen talking about like Bridget Macron's phallus and like committing calumny against a widow and Erica Kirk, I guess, and like the guy you just interviewed, Dan Bilzerian, talking about whatever the hell he's talking about between playing poker and fucking tons of women, whatever. So I guess the question is to both of you, I guess, which side is better, Trump and his people who are actually, you know, effectuating change, you know, in our favor, or, you know, the people talking about Bridget Macron's dick and all that?
I mean, well, bro, that's really not a fair comparison because one's in power and one are just podcasts. Like you literally talk about a group of people who are in power. Like Laura Loomer, she can get some things done because she has the ear of the president. So you're talking about a group who's in power versus a group who's not. Like, so you really can't sit there and compare the two when one has the power to enact the policies and one doesn't. Like, let's just keep it real. It's really weird to even ask him to compare the two.
I mean, that's kind of a bit of a straw man, so I don't really know what that has to do with this debate.
I don't see Candace Owens in South Carolina, you know, campaigning for Mark Lynch.
Or even debating her views.
At least Owen. I mean, hold on now. What does Candace Owens got to do with this? I mean, bro, here's the thing. Did you disprove that? I mean, can you prove that Brigitte Macron has a dick? I mean, no, you can't. No, nobody can even prove that she's a woman. She's not even willing to prove that she's a woman. Sadly, so we can get this over with. So I don't really know what the point of harping on Candace Owens is. Like you're acting like Candace Owens can change policies. Here's the thing, and Candace Owens has already stated that she don't want to be a part of no part of the Republican Party. So asking her to do some campaigning for a party that she don't really support no more is like, come on now, bro. It's kind of dumb. Like maybe you can make that argument against Tucker, maybe. But actually, hold on. Tucker is like actually standing up for Republicans. He's actually not really sponsoring, but getting behind Republicans to run against Randy Fine, to run against Lindsey Graham, guys like that. So they doing something.
In debates,
or at least Tucker is.
I did campaign for Mark Lynch. I was here.
No, but I'm saying like most of the people within the, you know, true MAGA, as you would see it, they're mostly online. Outside of you and a couple others, they're mostly online just complaining.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm not sure what exactly you're asking. Unfortunately, let me answer it like this. Unfortunately, good people in politics are very rare.
I feel like that doesn't answer the question at all.
There are no good sides. How about that? There are no good sides. There are no good sides.
Directly. Obviously, Trump and the people who are affecting change in the positive light towards which Owen just admitted sets the stage for us to have better candidates in the future due to these current policies and direction that we're going. Obviously, that's superior to talking about Bridget Macron's penis.
We'll go to the next. This is actually our last question for the night.
That penis might get erect before we win another election.
Well, thank you to both gentlemen, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
My question is exclusively to Owen. So you mentioned about the problem of rising prices in America, and you propose a solution, which is cutting more taxes for the average American so they have more money to spend. But from my point of view, right, I believe that this will be counterproductive because like when you cut taxes, it actually stimulates the demand. And when you stimulate the demand, it actually makes the inflation worse. So I'm just wondering what's your opinion on this, because I just do not believe that, from my understanding of economics, just cutting taxes to solve an issue of rising prices and inflation is not the way to approach it. So what do you think of it?
Well, I would disagree with the premise. I think that Americans having more money in their pocket, in their bank account, would be good for them economically. And the other side of that coin, let's say that the conclusion you've reached is accurate. The other side of that coin is that Americans just stay in perpetual debt. The country stays in perpetual debt, and Americans can never own anything, which is the current rate that we're at. And I don't think that's good. I'd like to see Americans be able to own something.
Lower prices, or it should, in theory, lower prices to the consumer. Do you agree with that? Okay, so if that's the case, people already are going to have more money to spend without inflating the money supply, right? Yeah. Okay, there we go.
We'll jump to the next one, and we're going to move into a rapid fire. If you guys are able to answer in as pithy a way as possible, we'll go to the next question.
I'm relatively pro tariff. It seems y'all two are also, but I don't see how you square the tariffs at the same time while Howard Lutnick and his sons are raking in millions, hundreds of millions of dollars through Cantor Fitzgerald, while at the same time Howard Lutnick is advocating for Trump to increase tariffs. Like buying out tariff rebates via companies, while the American people are paying for those rebates on both ends.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. You're saying there's a private company which is taking advantage of the tariff situation.
Well, Howard Lutnick's sons.
Okay. Yeah, I would have to look into the specifics and details of that, speak competently on it with that particular case.
I would say you're speaking of Cantor Fitzgerald, and I think Lutnick is just a problem. I don't know if we'll ever get to the bottom of those answers. But I think that you have to look at it now and wonder if that wasn't a Lutnick policy that ultimately he cashed in on. I think that's a fair question.
Do a really quick one.
Hey, first day, he took his kids to school. Come on.
Andrew, you spoke about he was talking about exporting Israeli pedophiles back and saying that was an obfuscation. Okay, so we don't want to talk about Israeli pedophiles, but what's one thing we can talk about?
We talk about it, but I actually gave him more accurate numbers, which
more
was more than how
okay.
many he said.
Going right to your point about accurate numbers, the Israelis have killed roughly 70,000 women and children, which is an official policy of their Palestinian ethnic cleansing, which is something Trump has enabled and supported. Would you say is like that a success of Trump? Like is Trump?
So we don't care about killing their pedophiles, but we care about. But if they die and it's to our benefit, that's not America first. I'm confused. I want to make sure I got this right. So if Trump is killing a pedophilic elite in Iran, that is bad because it has nothing to do with American interest, and you don't care about foreign countries, right? But if it's the case that Trump in some way enables them to kill their enemies, right? That's not America first, and that's bad. You got to make up your mind here.
The killing of innocent people I'm talking about by the Israeli government.
Okay. Yeah, it's not America, so who cares, right?
But
Isn't that the whole point?
It kind of is America because they take hundreds of billions of dollars from us.
Yeah,
they use our military. I mean, we subsidize Israel. Is anyone else sick of subsidizing a foreign country? I mean, good
we
Lord.
subsidize every. Hang on. We subsidize every. Hang on. We subsidize every foreign country.
I agree. Stop it all.
So that's one.
Cut
and
it
not
all
only
off.
that, not only that, here's what's funny. It's like, I don't want to subsidize Israel. I don't give a shit about Israel. Okay. I don't care. But I also don't give a shit if they're engaged in perpetual conflict with Arabs. I don't fucking care. I agree, pull our money out of that.
Yeah, you know what, bro? Here's the thing. I don't care either. But the problem is they always drag us into their conflict with Arabs. They ask for support in their conflict with Arabs. So yeah, trust me, bro. I feel the same way. I would just say, yo, if Israel want to do greater Israel, do it on your own. Don't involve us. Don't threaten to use nukes. None of that. Just do it on your own and leave us out of it. Other than that, I don't care. If you want to get jumped by 300 million Muslims, go ahead. But leave us out of it.
I don't want anything to do with it. That has nothing to do with whether or not Trump has been a success as a president, even if I count that against him.
I hate to do it, but
even if I count that against Trump, he would still have been a more successful president. Still.
All right, ready?
Hey, so we've heard from Andrew tonight a lot about how the Democrats have hamstrung Trump. Trump can't unilaterally do X, Y, and Z. So why is it that when it comes to declaring a war, not a war, he can do so unilaterally without approval from Congress?
Yeah, because he's the commander in chief of
the general.
Hang on.
He's the
No,
general.
it doesn't mean that. You need to read the Constitution. Let's go to the Constitution to the.
The Constitution says that
Hang
you
on.
cannot unilaterally declare war.
Do you want me to answer or not? First of all, if you know U.S. history, then you would know how many times we've been embroiled in conflict abroad by the president of the United States, including by Thomas Jefferson. Why'd you leave? Is it just like a mic drop and then I'm gonna go?
They tell me I started a war. Of course I started a war, but I'm going to say it's not a war because I don't want to get impeached. It's very simple, okay?
Yeah.
It's very simple.
Yeah,
not a war.
The commander in chief.
Oh, it's over. I won 5 times, by the way, and I'm the president of peace.
The commander in chief does have broad power when it comes to unilaterally utilizing the military. Congress has control of the purse. They have control of the funding. And
guys, make sure to double tap that screen like the video. And make sure to support the channel as well, guys. If you want me to keep on going longer, make sure to support the channel. Appreciate the support, guys.
The purse. Right now, the military's funded. Trump can do basically whatever the hell he wants with them, unless there's an act of Congress. Where is that at?
We have to jump into the closings. So
It
if you
failed,
have
didn't it?
Yeah.
We'll go right into these closings with 3-minute time sections. We're going to start with Andrew, of course, and then we'll follow up with Owen. Andrew, the floor is all yours for your 3-minute closing.
Yeah, so a whole bunch of things to cover as we're going over the span of this debate. I know that we got caught on the Epstein stuff, but the reason that was important to get caught on is because it's the hammer and bludgeon that the left wing has been using to defame Trump now ever since the debacle of the Epstein file release, which was a debacle, 100%. I'm not going to even bother trying to defend it. It was a debacle the way that was released. Now, that aside, labeling this guy a pedophile, and that's what they label him, and labeling him as a protector of pedophiles, all that's done is destroy him in the public psyche. And when you see the alt-right, maybe not all alt-righters, I'm generalizing here a little bit, but when you see right-wingers who also try to bludgeon him with the same thing, they're doing the Democrats' work for them. Democrats never gave a shit about the Epstein files. Nothing was ever released under any Democrat president. In fact, the sweetheart deals to Costa, as we pointed out, was done under Obama. They've never cared about it. They use it as a bludgeon against the guy, and Republicans go right along with it. Basically, they're using that as a position to try to sweep the midterms. And that's exactly what's probably going to happen. And you're going to be really mad when they do, because you're going to remember what it was like living under Democrats. It sucks. Now, that's why that was so important. And I asked Owen about evidences. And of course, he didn't fucking have any. The evidence is always, they didn't give us enough evidence. Okay, but what about the fact that what we do have? What about the redactions? Hey, Andrew, what about that? Okay, that was all done mostly by attorneys. Trump can't do much about that, right? Every time you get into the specifics of these things and these details with these people, it's no different than when I'm on TikTok arguing with them. They never have anything of substance to say on the topic, only insinuations. This is what must be happening, this and that. But they're defaming the president of the United States with this. They're bludgeoning him with it, which gives the Democrats an upper hand. That's why that was important coming into this when we're talking about the success of Donald Trump. I'd say that that's hamstringing some of that success. When it came to the domestic policies, Owen basically rolled over. I mean, he agrees with me on the net zero migration. He agreed on Trump pardoning him and all of his friends. He agreed with tariffs. He agrees with all of these various things. The only 2 points he seems to have that he really tries to hammer Trump on is just the idea of this conflict in Iran, which is only going on for 7 weeks. I'm not going to move against Trump without serious boots on the ground if he's doing limited airstrikes in this war to give ground to Democrats. That's insane. No way. I'm not doing it. The other problem is that I think I demonstrated all of these successes. Owen did not do a great job of demonstrating Trump's failures. He, in fact, agreed with me more than he didn't on most of the things that I consider to be successful. Now, if we go back just a couple of years, if I said that we would get to a point where we have net negative migration, more people leaving than coming in, you guys would be jumping for joy. Never thought possible. And yet here we are. That's not good enough. What's Trump done for me lately?
Thank you very much for that closing statement.
All right.
The timer is set for you as well, Owen. 3 minutes. The floor is yours.
So my last comment as far as the debate here is concerned, the ultimate measuring stick for Trump's success is going to be the midterms, which you've sacrificed, that you are expecting that Republicans are going to lose. Trump is going to be on the campaign trail, and Republicans are going to still lose the midterms. And if you want to say, oh, well, this is the media, this is the Epstein stuff, Trump has been against the media through 2 election cycles and 3. He's won 3 election cycles with the media attacking him. So I don't really think that's legitimate. But I want to step back. I want to step back from the actual contents of the debate, and I want to make a general statement about why I don't view Trump's administration as a success. And that might be because my expectations were too lofty, but this is the reality of the situation as I see it, and I think as a lot of Americans see it. The debate up here was politics as usual. It seems like a lot of the stuff happening in DC, Democrats, Republicans, it's all just politics as usual. I supported Donald Trump and voted for Donald Trump 3 times because I'm sick of the politics as usual. I'm looking for somebody to go in there and have massive reform, turn tables over, shrink the government in ways that we never thought possible. We all think Trump says treason. How many times has Trump said treason? Nobody's been tried for treason. Nobody's been arrested for treason. So I elected a reform agent. I elected a change agent. I elected somebody to get in there and not do politics as usual, but actually ram heads with the globalists, ram heads with the establishment, and completely remake this country to closer to what it was founded upon, closer to the constitutional ideals, closer to self-government, closer to being independent, shrinking the government, bringing everything internally instead of sending out aid all over the country. That's what I wanted. Lofty goals, high expectations, maybe. But I think the understanding from the American people and why we supported Trump, I don't know how much longer, I don't know how many opportunities we're going to get to save this country politically. Politically, I don't know how many other opportunities we're going to get to save this country. And I feel like if we can't do it with Trump and Bongino and Patel, if we can't do it with this team, that's a blow. That's a blow. I don't know where we go from here. The Democrats get back in.
It was the most outside, non-establishment team we had, and they turned out to be acting more establishment than the guys who were printed right out of it. I mean, I'm sorry, but the guys who came right out of the political establishment, I'm sorry, but like these guys, honest, like the reason I'm kind of like lost for words because it is pretty disappointing. The guys from outside the establishment are acting more establishment than the guys who were pretty much breaded from inside of the establishment. So mainstream politics is acting better than the guys who came from the podcast, like, you know, Kash Patel and Dan Bongino. And these guys are the biggest failures of it because you guys came from outside, and I get maybe, you know, that might be the reason they don't have no real experience, but let's keep it real. Bongino went in there talking it up, talking about we can't let go of the Epstein files. We're about to get these deep state arrests. When he got out of there, let's be real. What he said about the Epstein files turned out to be a lie and no deep state arrests. Kash Patel, I mean, I ain't gonna lie, bro looks like he's having more fun being FBI director and actually getting actual work done, but it is what it is.
Worse than ever. But that's what I elected from Trump. I elected a change agent. I wanted somebody to get in there and do massive reform, massive shrinking of government beyond just DOJ, arresting deep state criminals. And we're just simply not getting it. And it doesn't look like it's going that way either. And I'm just concerned. I don't know how many more election cycles our country can take before it becomes impossible to save this country politically.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Please join me in giving one final applause to our speakers. What a fantastic debate.
Yeah.
Great. A lot of fun. Great job.
We'll have one more announcement. We'll have one more announcement from Sean. We'll do one more announcement. One more? DebateCon, in fact, as well as, would you like to make an announcement?
All right, guys, make sure to double tap that screen and like the video, guys. If you have any questions, comments, jokes, or disagreements, hey, double tap that screen and like the video, guys. Oh, and if you have, my bad, if you have any questions, comment, jokes, or disagreements, you can go ahead and super chat it in, Venmo or Rumble Rant. Appreciate the support, guys. Let's get over to, you know, the bookmarks. We're going to react to some bookmarks that I had saved on X, and then we're going to go ahead and head on out. But like I said, though, if you want to make sure to support the channel, But before I head out, you can go ahead and send a super chat in. I'd love to engage with any question, comments, jokes, or disagreements. And it's a great way to keep the stream going longer. And like I said, any questions, like I said, go ahead and super chat that in. But all right, guys, let's get right into it. All right, so shout out to our guy, Jake Shields. He said, this is probably the most retarded argument I've ever heard. He's arguing it's okay to kill hundreds of schoolgirls because there's a few pedophiles in Iran. And you know what? I mean, he did kind of say that. He's like, well, what about the pedophiles in Iran? He's bombing pedophiles in Iran. I'm sorry, but that just don't hold when we actually bombed a whole bunch of little girls. I'm sorry, but that just does not hold. But he did say that.
Were those schoolgirls pedophiles?
We still have control of it. What did I say? In the future, it'll go down.
We'll see. I hope that's the case. I hope that's the case, but that's not the case right now. And Americans are struggling financially. And now here we are in another war in the Middle East, and we're sick of it.
Are you going to blame? Are you going to blame market speculators?
I'm going to blame Trump for getting us into another war on Israel's behalf. Yes, I am going to blame Trump for that. He did that.
So help me out here. Can you tell me all of the downsides of Donald Trump killing pedophiles in the Middle East?
First of all, do you know every single person? Were those schoolgirls pedophiles?
It's institutionalized in the Iranian
no. We're the 200 schools.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is like, bro, every person in Iran is not a pedophile. If you're saying that Iran institutes you, or I guess gets you to think that pedophilia is okay, you're lying. Because like I said, and I brought it up multiple times, that the average marriage age in Iran for women is 24, 25 years old. So majority of women in Iran is getting married in their mid-20s. So to sit there and say it's a country of pedophiles only because it's a majority Muslim country is absolutely outrageous.
Girls want to make sure that they're alive so they can get raped. But that aside, no, of course not. But there's going to be deaths inside of a war.
Okay, so it is a war.
Yeah, I didn't say it wasn't a war.
Does he need
I'm not going to
congressional
quibble
approval?
over the word, even though there's no ground invasion, there's no boots on the ground, there's none of that. I just want to know, how is the global interest served? You're so concerned about pedophiles. He killed one of the most major ones who's ever existed since the late 1970s. He
was friends with Epstein.
He put it inside of the Constitution of Iran that you can marry 9-year-old girls, dude. And by the way, Khomeini,
that's good.
Khomeini,
So,
hang on, almost done. Khomeini was married to a 15-year-old. Perhaps by the lunar cycle could have been 40.
Now you see how he kind of left out Khomeini's age at that moment. Yeah, it was a 10-year age grab. So she was 15. Khomeini was 25. Actually, both the Ayatollahs got married at 25 to a 15-year-old. Actually, so I'm just gonna say it like that. And you know what? If a 10-year, I mean, honestly, it's kind of up to it's kind of up to you at that point. If you think a 10-year gap is pedophilia, then okay, sure, whatever. I mean, that's on. I mean, I'm not even gonna argue with you on that. But to sit there and not mention the age that he was at as well, come on now, that's a bit disingenuous. And I'm not saying that it makes it better, but that kind of leaves it up to the listener to decide how you feel about that. The Ayatollah was 25 years old when he married his 15-year-old wife at that time. So I don't know how you feel about that, but it doesn't go against the fact that majority of Iranians are not getting married in that fashion. And majority of Iranians, as a country of 93 million, has 88 million Muslims. Yeah, not all 88 million Muslims are doing child marriages. And shout out to Andrew Wilson, not Andrew Wilson, but what was it? His wife. She even came up and stated that fact that, well, in a year, out of 93 million, out of 88 million Muslims, she was only able to record 27,000 that happened in a year out of 88 million Muslims in Iran. So is that really a significant number to go off of to call them all pedophiles? Of course not. But all right.
14. His son was married to a 14 or 15-year-old. A lot of his high command were married to children as well. Trump killed all of them without a single boot on the ground.
So, and this is what the sick part of it is. So, you know, they had kids, right? And like I said, here's the thing. There's people in America who got married like that. So there's people in America who have a 10-year age gap, 25, 15, just like in here, just like in Iran. And you're telling me if we was to go ahead and kill those guys and and pretty much take out fathers, take fathers away from their families, their daughters, their wives, and all that good stuff. That's what you're saying we should do by blowing up pedophiles. And here's the thing: I can't even really consider these guys pedophiles Sadly, because this happens in my own country where we got dudes mid-20s that are marrying women that's 15, 16 years old. So I'm sorry, but you can't sit there and say that's okay, but then you're not going to sit here and what? You're going to say it's okay to start bombing the rest of the guys in America who are in a 10-year gap relationship? You think, I mean, I'm sorry, but what bro is saying doesn't make sense.
Great. And I'm sure after we've killed thousands of Iranians, including young schoolgirls and the entire family, I'm sure.
Wow. And you see how he's saying that. You see why Jake Shields went off. He's arguing it's okay to kill hundreds of schoolgirls because there's a few pedophiles. And then he's trying to say, well, all of these Muslims and the clergy are pedophiles, even though he can't prove that. I would have to ask him, all right, can you prove to me that every religious clergy around Khomeini married their wife at 15? Can you prove that? He'd be like, no, it was just part of their religion, though. No, it's not actually not part of their religion. Actually, religious scholars even debate about Aisha's age. Y'all say Muhammad married a 9-year-old. Well, guess what? That's one argument in a long religious debate, because there's Muslims that also said that she was 15 to 17. And that's tracking her off her sister's age. So you guys are just picking one side of a debate. You know that, right? In Islam. You guys think that the only position is that Muhammad married a 9-year-old, when no, there's another position where he married a 17-year-old, where Aisha was 17. So you guys don't even really know the arguments in the religion to be saying that.
That the Iranians are going to be less radicalized because of that. So I'm not
radicalized. What do you mean? How do you get more radicalized than marrying children, dude?
What do you think they're going to stop?
What are you talking about?
You think they're going to?
I mean, there's Christians that marry children as well, Andrew. You're going to speak on that in America. About 300,000 didn't happen from 2000 to 2018. So yes, 18 years. How much we've had? About 300,000 child marriages. Right. Okay. So it's kind of crazy how we're over here trying to cast judgment on Iran for also having child marriages at the same age that we do. And guess what? You know who's mainly doing these child marriages? People in the Bible Belt. Conservative religious people. So it's the same conservative religious people that are having high judgment of another religious people who do the same thing.
Stop?
No, well, I'm just saying, how do you get more radical? You're like, oh, the Iranians are going to get more radicalized.
Yeah, no, and somebody said something like